We make the segue to Gary Danielson, longtime CBS college football analyst, final broadcast New Year's Eve with Arizona State and Duke, former NFL quarterback as well. Does it feel like you're retired?
Not really, because I usually have, these 3 or 4 or 5 months off before I get going. However, it was a year-long, really nice schedule. In fact, that every game we did, I was treated royally, saluted, heard from everybody I've ever known every week, basically. And I know our crew and the CBS family went out of their way to make it a great finish for me.
The Army-Navy game, that brings out the best in you. What is it about that game?
I guess in a world that's so transactional for everybody, including me when I was, working my way and trying to make the NFL. I mean, I was just so focused on trying to make that league that I grew up wanting to do. These are all players that have dedicated their life to something more than just themselves and their careers. They dedicated their lives to their country. But in contrast and along with that, they cared so much about football. And everybody involved in that game, because of that, cared so much about making that presentation special for them. And the game seemed to always deliver. When I first started doing it, it was the first year it was a standalone game. And I think the country kind of learned to love that game. I don't know how much longer it's going to be there, but I feel when I did those games, an added sense of responsibility to send those guys off because they loved the game so much.
Did the college football playoff committee get it right?
I think so. I mean, instead of arguing who was the fourth or fifth team or who's the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th team, as they got bigger, Dan, I think you can agree with this, they're becoming a thinner and thinner difference between who could be in the playoffs and not. Usually when there was 2 teams, it was pretty easy, maybe one other team. When there were 4 teams, it usually was what conference doesn't get their champion involved. And now it was, whether a game in August mattered to determine who played in January or the end of December. So I think for the most part, everybody involved took it seriously. I do think it could be improved. Everything can be improved. I think the home field advantage, I know talking to a lot of coaches off the record felt that it would be better to play a home game in the first round than get a bye. And I think that's proven out. I thought Ohio State was a little flat in their game. So, and not taking anything away from everybody, but for the most part, people like to watch games of consequence. That's what I started off doing in my whole broadcasting career. Ended up the last 20 at CBS, but it felt like every Saturday in the SEC for 18 years, we were the center of attention, and people like to watch games like that.
Yeah, I just wonder where we're going because, we're talking March Madness where we want to, well, not me, but it feels like they want to expand. There's more money there. Even with college football, we haven't got to 16. We haven't been at 12 very long. Now we're talking 16, which will probably happen next year. Then they're going to extrapolate and go, well, why don't we go to 24? Like, I just don't know what the number is. I remember when March Madness was 32 teams, Gary.
Right.
We never stopped. We never, the NFL was going to move to 18 games. This is what we do. So I wonder, college football, where do you see us in 5 years?
I think there will at least be 16 teams, and it could be bigger than that, where 8 teams get a bye and they include more. I don't know exactly how it'll be, but here's what I feel overall about this. Freedom and capitalism have a great way of figuring things out, okay? And it ends up going to the perfect spot, the perfect price point. And, it used to be, unless you had a major conglomerate around you, when you started was through ESPN. And now guys like you or Pat McAfee or people starting podcasts, they have the freedom to go out there and build their own brand and do what they have to do. And I thought college football kind of got stuck where all the great players were gravitating to 8, 10, 12 schools. I remember I did a seminar at CBS maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and they asked us to pick our top 10 going into 2019 or something like that. And I went and sought out the old Life magazine when they had their or Sports Illustrated preseason top 10 from the year I graduated from high school. And 8 of the 10 teams were the exact same 10 teams that were preseason this year. And I put it up as my top 10, and there was a team that didn't belong. And they go, "What do you do?" And I go, "Oh, I'm sorry. I put the wrong one up." I think it's better now. Is it perfect? No. But here's another thing, because there's more money in it, basically, more of these athletes are training harder. They're getting individual teachers. They're going out and having 7-on-7 leagues, and there's just a lot more players that were stuck in Division II or in the MAC that are now getting their chance to go to these major colleges that we watch on TV. They're not all bad football players. I mean, Trinidad Chambliss, great example. My
Yeah.
my my buddy covered him in high school football when he was in the state championship. Said he was good, but not ready for Michigan. Well, he went to Ferris, put in a couple more years, and look where he is now. So I just feel there's more opportunity. And I think it's better than having Georgia, Texas, Ohio State having 3 good quarterbacks and 6 good offensive tackles, that those guys spread out. So I don't think there's that much bad about it.
Longtime CBS college football analyst Gary Danielson joining us. Can this year's Hoosiers supplant the movie Hoosiers? The basketball team is a better story.
Whoa. And that's a great question. And I just saw that Bobby Plump was just at the Butler game, 89 years old. I don't know if you saw that little clip of him, and he looked like he could still shoot, to me, the way he was waving his hand around. That would be tougher. I think doing a story about 6 people and a coach is harder than doing it, for as many as there. But hey, listen, I'm a Purdue guy, and I see IU fans everywhere. And I'm a bit jealous, and I'm a bit in awe at the same time that I couldn't have that storyline when I was playing, because it is. And I see the fans, and they're so proud, and they got their IU jerseys on and their hats. And I kid them a little bit by telling them this would be basketball jerseys and basketball hats by now, but no, they are all in, and they're really, really a good football team. Dan, I turned on their tape to do the Oregon game when they played at Oregon. And I'm just like, they were considered a fraud from 2024, their finish. And I thought it would have been hard for anybody to go into Ohio State or go into Notre Dame and beat them. And the more you watch those games, they weren't frauds, but they weren't ready for the big time stage yet. And I just thought they were focused this year. And when I flipped on the tape and watched the different layers, how the defensive linemen work for the linebackers, the 3 linebackers they have. I mean, it's like watching the old Pittsburgh Steelers with Lambert and those guys. And I mean, they're really, really good football players, and they got a special quarterback and a coach that knows how to lead them. I don't listen. All 4 teams could easily win these games and win the championship, but I know Oregon will be very, very focused for this football game. When Indiana beat them last time in Oregon, which is a tough place to play, Oregon was just coming off of their celebration for beating Penn State. And honestly, when we did our interviews, I was struck about that they really couldn't get off the Penn State story. They were so proud of going there, winning with 110,000, and they seemed to not take IU serious. I think they're going to take them serious for this game.
Best college player you ever saw?
I would have to say Cam Newton, to tell you, and I've seen a bunch of great ones. I thought he had a team that might have won 4 or 5 games without him, and he led them in the SEC. I knew of him when he was at Florida and when he left. Um, I've seen a bunch of them that were great, no doubt about it. But if I had to pick one in one season, what he did, I thought Cam was amazing in that year. I think the highest NIL player, if they were in today's world for his 4 years, would have been Tim Tebow. He broke out my first year in 2006, won the Heisman in '07, and stayed all 4 years. I think he could have made a lot of money if he'd have been in the game today.
Can college football have a commissioner?
It's a great question, and I don't know. It's funny. I have a really good friend that runs a managing partner for a big law firm all over the state of Florida, and he's a big college football fan. And I said, Mike, you could take your three smartest lawyers and bring three or four of the best college football minds into a room. And I think you'd have a tough time figuring out how to put someone in charge with all the different and all the way people have what's important to the Big Ten or the Big 12 is not important. Everybody has their own dynamics of what will make this thing go. And to make it fair, like the NFL, where things go, then the Big Ten and the SEC would have to cede a lot of power, and I don't know if they're willing to do that.
Thank you for caring.
Appreciate it. I would like to say that our end was not exactly the way we planned it. Okay, and a lot of people put a lot of work into it. Just like any person, I was very focused on what I wanted to say at the end, and we got squished a little bit in time, and it was really nobody's fault. Probably me. I was the last one that had the mic, and I could have got it. But
what did you want to say?
It was not really what I just wanted to compose myself and thank my families. My football families, the teams that I was on. My Purdue family, my Lion family, my Browns family, my ABC, ESPN family. I did not thank them. There's 30, 40, 50 people that I could have thanked in those 16 years. And of course, my CBS family. And I also wanted to tell Charles Davis, who's taken my spot, that this crew turned head over heels for make my last year great and that last day great. And that Todd Blackledge sat in the seat before me. I've been lucky enough for 20 years, and these people will all do the same work for you. Good luck, Charles. It's a great seat to have.
Awesome.
But it takes too long, though.
Dan.
Yeah. Radio's
I was going to cut you off, Gary. You were going too long.
You should have. You know what they do to a quarterback? If you rush them, they throw interceptions, and I threw an interception.
Good luck in whatever's next, but thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it, Gary.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me on.
Gary Danielson, longtime CBS college football analyst. It's probably the best compliment, and I hope he took it that way, that he cared. When I listened to a game, when I watched a game, he cared. And it's not just the Army-Navy game. That's an easy one to get invested in. Not every game's a great game, but it's the people who are doing the games that they care about those games.